What it do? What it do? What it do? It is your boy Andrew Schultz, aka Mr. Goody Two Shoes. And who am I with? You already know. We already know. Let's go. It's Mr. Joseph Huggins, aka Old Man Huggies, here for episode 52. Joseph, not gonna wait for you to pause. I got Deez. You want Deez? These classified nuts, baby. Let's go, motherfuckers.
Yeah, man. What's up, man? What's up, y'all? How's it going, everybody? How are y'all? How are you? Yeah.
Never been better.
Declassify Deez nuts, dudes. I tell you what, the shit's wild. Interesting week. It's been wild since we've last talked.
I mean, literally a week.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, even more stuff's happened since the last time we did this. The last time we did it, there was just had the warrant, the legally executed search on Mar-a-Lago, and since then there's been like 10 other things that have happened. Shit's wild, shit's crazy. Loving it. It's been a very interesting week. Interesting as fuck week. And look, I made us bigger, so I've adjusted it, slowly working on the setup, new shit every time. So welcome back, y'all. We appreciate y'all being here.
Only dude that knows that him and I have abnormally big heads. He's like, yeah, we gotta make those heads bigger.
Well, no, we were too small last time, man. Like I keep messing with
I've never heard that before. You know what I'm saying, ladies?
Well, yes, I'm talking about our pictures on here. Messing with this stuff is intense, man. It takes a while. It's like intense Photoshop. So I try to like build this stuff out, but it looks good. And now we're not like tiny, and it's not a bunch of weird graphics just moving, and we're little dots. So I'm kind of excited. And I'm ready for 52. Declassify Deez nuts. Let's go.
Ooh. All right, y'all. As we do, Joseph and I start with therapy questions, and I'll lead it off here. Therapy question number 1. Old man. Red paper under a blue light appears black. Is the paper still red?
This is the most annoying as fuck question. You have no right to lean back in your chair with some stupid shit like
David Blaine, baby.
Is the paper still red? Yes.
Well, why?
Because the paper is red and the light shining through the paper is changing the color based off the light. So the light is what? Reflecting through. That's not the right word.
That's like asking if a rainbow is real, bro, and you're saying no. Is it still the sky?
Well, yeah, but I mean, you can't like ride a rainbow. There's no like pot of gold at the end of a.
Oh, you're coming at my Irish people?
That's not what I'm saying.
Are you
saying that y'all?
Are you coming at reading rainbow?
Are you saying that y'all ride rainbows? Is that what you're telling me? Are you saying you guys just ride rainbows around?
I taste the rainbow. Shout out Skittles, not sponsoring us yet.
Maybe
shout out Marshawn Lynch, beast mode.
Just got arrested.
Shut up.
Allegedly. You didn't allegedly get arrested.
Allegedly. Anyways, don't besmirch my boy.
No, I love Marshawn, but he did just get arrested for like drinking and driving at like 8 in the morning.
Bullshit. You're coming at California, and I don't like it. However, okay, so red paper under a blue light appears black. Is the paper still red? Isn't it the individual that determines what color something is? So like you're colorblind, and like I was in a meeting. I was like helping develop like the new CRM for this company, and we had like highlighted stuff like that meant different stuff like in the like line item list when somebody was putting in an order.
Yeah.
And somebody in the meeting was colorblind and like could not differentiate between two of the colors. And so does that make that person wrong because we're calling them color blind? Or does it mean like the color, this is the color that they're seeing, so that is the color? Like it doesn't,
But then if someone's colorblind, they give them corrective lenses and they can see all the colors fine. So isn't it like something about how their eyes interpret? Like, it's the same with black light. So like black light isn't a color, but we interpret black light because the light and that
how's it gonna be black?
And that color of light reflects it, makes it some other color. It like illuminates it.
I guess my point is like,
so the paper's still red. It's just the light is changing your visual interpretation of the paper.
Why is the paper like the control in this experiment? So the paper's just flawless. It's red no matter what. But the light is a blue light and it makes it look black. So so is the blue light wrong? Is the color on the paper black wrong? Is the red paint or marker on it wrong? Like, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Well, but no, because you could the blue light is also a control, because you could have green light, white light. If you're going to change the light and change the paper, so you would have to have red paper and then try red paper as the control against an array of different lights to see what to decipher the results of that and say like observe what the red paper looks like under different colored lights, or what different colored paper looks like under blue light. You would have to, one of them would have to be a control. Otherwise, it's just
are you saying like in natural light, let's say the sun for the earth, in natural light, whatever color that paper is the color?
Like, I guess would be the base color of it. Like, yeah, if you took that paper outside and it was in broad daylight and it was black, you'd say that's black paper. It wouldn't be like, oh, that's a red piece of paper.
That's the standard, is whatever the sun reflects off of that piece of paper, and the color that comes off of it is what that is.
Well, I mean, but yeah, the whole...
So, because blue lights don't matter apparently to you.
But no,
blue lives don't matter to me.
Well, no, stop it! Don't say crazy shit like that.
Come find me. Come find me.
No, man, shout out FBI.
But
no, like that. I mean, the paper.
I forgot that we flipped on that.
Yeah, we got to flip on that right now, man. But no, I think
that our blue lives.
The red paper, it's still red. It doesn't matter what light you put under the paper, is still red.
But isn't the light is what's making it red?
The observable properties of that paper are being changed based off of an outside variable that would be the blue light, right? So
and the sun.
Or the sun, but I mean, if it's
green light,
but I mean, just
that actually exists
underneath just a natural colored light that doesn't have any other color alterations to it. Yeah, the red paper's red. Like, that's like,
so you take that red paper to like another planet, like a stupid one like Mars, and what if it looks green?
You gotta guess.
That's right, Mars. Anyways, it looks green from the natural light. Are you saying that it's green now?
Well, it would be green to somebody who's never seen it before, but if you went out there to a planet that sucks like Mars, I guess, and you were
bitch-ass planet,
you were like that weird about red paper that you took it out that far, you would still know the paper was red. You were just trying to see what the red paper looked like under natural light in Mars. Yes, it would have to be somebody who sees it for the first time and is like, oh, that is actually, that's a green piece of paper. And you'd be like, no, once it was red, but under this light.
Okay, so let's break it down like a little bit further. What makes something red? Is it just the consensus of everybody besides people who are colorblind?
Well, I mean, I guess it'd be pigments and whatever that are added to whatever that color is, but I mean, that's how our eye interprets it. That's how like our
your eye.
Well, the average
to a blue light comes
to an average, run of the mill eyeball, like who doesn't have any.
So it's a basic ass red.
Who doesn't have any like visual impairments? Not to say that being colorblind would be a visual impairment, but if you confuse your greens with your reds, that would suck for driving. You would have to memorize where the light was, and you'd be able to see yellow, but everything else would look like kind of gray, right? So
you're saying that society determines?
Well, no, science. That's why they can still create lenses that give eyes that ability that their eyes don't interpret, and then people who are colorblind are able to see like greens or blues or reds or whatever color because they know what they can't see. They can identify what colors you can't see. They could hold up a picture board with a bunch of different things, like an eggplant and grass and a stop sign, and be like, what color is that? They could ask them, and they could just decipher what colors.
I know what color the eggplant is.
I feel like I'm sciencing you hard right now.
No, you're not. I'm embarrassed.
What?
I'm trying to cut you off, like, so you stop yourself.
No.
Okay, so we know that they can't see the colors of like a colorblind person of normal people. Normal is the setting on the dishwasher. It doesn't really exist. The majority of people, I should say. And so we've determined that we don't even know what colors we can't see as the majority of people who are correcting people with lenses that are colorblind, quote unquote.
Well, yeah, because visible light's on a spectrum. So
we're like bitch ass. You can't see the same colors as us. You need to fix that. However, we can't see colors that other people, or not people, but other species can see. You know, so it's like, who's to say?
Well, we can't see them with the naked eye, no, because our eyes don't see that level of the light spectrum. But I mean, there's creatures that can have like night vision. I mean, the mantis shrimp has the best vision out of any creature on the planet, and it's this little multicolored little crustacean thing that lives.
Tastes so good under butter, like a little bit of like cocktail sauce.
But they have like these crazy eyes where they can see like infrared and see all this other stuff. Where they have insane vision. They have these two separate eyes that operate separately, but their eyes are like 8 times as more powerful as ours. Something insane like that. So I mean,
what if they said that this paper wasn't red? It was turquoise.
Well, I mean,
would you be like, you're an idiot?
But they might not think the sky is blue. They might see something different than blue because they could see UV rays coming through. They could see a bunch of different things. So they might see something.
They can't see the sky. They're shrimp. They're in the fucking
obviously.
water.
But if we had eyes as powerful as they did, we would see things differently because our eyes would be able to receive more or interpret more different types of light.
All right. I got more out of that question than I thought I would. Especially when Joseph was trying to dismiss it from the jump. All right, y'all. Therapy question number 2.
Well, because it's good. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Something to think about. Therapy question number 2. This is way more serious, y'all. How do towels get dirty if you only ever use them when you're clean?
Because you use them. What kind of stupid shit is that? You use them, so now they're a dirty towel. That's what happens. I don't. What do you have a retort?
Oh, allow me to retort. I moved into my new pad, didn't have a towel. However, I did have my dog's hoodie. That's right, my dog's hoodie that was clean, and I had to take a shower like when I first got here, and I used it as the towel, like because I just had washed it like the other day, like before I moved in, and it was so absorbent. Like I was so dry so quickly from this hoodie that I continued to use it. It discouraged me from washing my towels, and I used that for a solid month. And it felt clean every single time because I was coming out of a shower where I was clean every single time. I think it's a good argument.
Yeah, but I feel like...
I mean, if you're using a towel to like wipe shit off of like some disaster, like obviously not, but if it's exclusively coming out of the shower...
Well, okay. Like, I mean, I'm not saying like you can't every time you take a shower use a new towel like every single time. Now obviously after about 2 uses, 3, you got to get a new towel. Like it's
but
like
why?
It's like why? Because I mean I have enough towels to where I'd want to use another one at some point.
Black privilege, y'all.
What? Black privilege? Wow. Get out of here.
I coined that phrase. Nobody's ever said it.
That I don't know. I feel like somebody said that before.
I haven't heard it.
I feel like some dumb suburban ass has said that before.
You would think that they would have by now, like when they're like hitting us with all lives matter immediately after Black Lives Matter launches.
But isn't that like saying, "Oh, you're"? Isn't that the race card? If someone complains about someone using the race card, wouldn't that be claiming that they're using their black privilege? Isn't that just another way to say that?
Yeah, but this is 2022, so I've updated it.
Oh, okay. Well, we appreciate
And
it.
you having multiple towels, black privilege.
No, man, me having multiple towels, an adult. If you only have one towel, that's weird.
Wow.
What if someone comes over? Because it's like weird. Like you have to have more than one towel. If someone stays or is hanging out at your house, they need to use a shower. They need a towel. You got to give them a towel. Another towel. You can't be like, yeah, here, I only have one. Use the towel that I use every day. I only wash it once a month. That's fucking weird.
I'm not saying it's like
Because it's going to be wet and it's going to dry and have moisture in it over time. So it's going to, at some point, start to smell bad just by default because you're using it and it's getting wet and then it's air drying. Using it and getting wet and it's air drying. Right?
you just got to know how to dry it, bro. You got to like spread it out. You don't like fold it up.
Well, obviously,
You get a lot of air under it. But no, I understand what you're saying. When you have people over to take a shower, it's usually what I do, but I take a shower with them because they're females, and we just use the same towel anyways.
So
What are we
you.
talking?
That's ridiculous.
No, but I mean that's more of your privilege that you're allowed to have people over and just like like have them take showers and give them
Everybody,
towels.
give everybody a towel. Everybody gets a towel.
Everybody gets
That's
a
why-
towel.
That's
It's
my
like
black
first class American Airlines up in this bitch.
Jesus. Well, I'll make sure to check my privilege. I'm sorry, man. Didn't mean to project it so hard on you.
It was like projectile vomit. It was crazy.
With my high towel count. But also
not
having
a high threat.
But think about this too.
That's white privilege.
Towels are also good because the more towels you have, if you do spill something, then you can clean it up easier with a towel. Paper towels are expensive as shit, right? So if I have if I have a couple towels for like, oh, this is the towels that I use if I give Topanga a bath. I have a towel that I dry her off with because I don't want to use the same towel as I use for my dog. That'd be weird. Those same dog towels are like, oh shit, I was painting and I spilled some shit. I'm gonna mop it up with this shit towel. So you have like good towels. You have guest towels, then you have like dog and utility towels, because I can clean
No, I'm not here to fuck up our Bed Bath and Beyond sponsorship. Yes, you should have multiple towels if you can afford it. I'm just trying to say, if you're the only one using the towel and it's getting dried in an efficient manner where it doesn't get mildew, and you're only using it to come out of the shower, isn't it still clean?
No.
Okay, and then the last part of this, and we'll move on to therapy question number 3. Part of the black privilege is wash rag for your ass. That's not a white thing, and I didn't hear about that until I was in my late 20s and already stuck in my ways, if you will. But makes sense to me.
Oh, the washcloth?
For your ass.
Yeah, the washcloth is clutch.
Not a thing.
It's clutch.
Never brought up. And
well, because y'all are like loofahs and y'all share loofahs and stuff.
No.
Because I'd say that loofahs are white privilege.
Well,
a loofah on a stick?
That
just reeks of white privilege.
Well, it's hard for me to reach my back because I'm so swole. But no, no. But even with a loofah, if you will, I won't scrub my ass with it in case, just like you were saying with the towel, in case somebody else needs to use it. I think it's weird.
Well, yeah, but oh my god,
you can't wash it. You can't wash a loofah and like.
Why would you be like? Why would you? I would never want to use someone else's loofah. That's weird.
Right.
Or like I wouldn't want someone to use mine.
I avoid it too. However, if somebody did use my loofah, I wouldn't have any problems with it because I only have body wash, and how otherwise you're just gonna be like, and like
Mm.
slapping body wash on like enough for your entire body, like just on your right arm, and then
Oh,
have to pour more. And like it's not like actually even that. It's just like I understand how it's a problem if you don't have a loofah but only body wash because it's not like a bar soap.
yeah, I don't know, man. Sharing loofahs is weird. I think loofahs, toothpaste, like their toothbrush. I don't think you should share your toothbrush with anyone.
I mean, me and my ex definitely shared a loofah.
Okay, if you're like with someone, but I don't want like you coming over and using my loofah. I'd be like, hey, bro,
Yeah, I wouldn't.
and I don't think you should share toothbrushes.
No,
That
I would definitely.
that's gross to
I
me.
would definitely use your toothbrush, and I would definitely use your towel that you just used. Like those,
And using someone else's deodorant is weird to me.
Yeah, me too.
Like those are like the things. A toothbrush, deodorant, like absolutely not. Like I'm just like, nah, man. If you use the deodorant, I'd be like, just keep it. I always buy like two at a time. I'd be like, it's yours. Like I don't even want it back. I don't know why.
I would just be like, don't tell me.
Ooh, yeah, but I mean, I'd want to know because I could, so I could just.
Like, it's not actually gross. It's just gross when you think about it.
Yeah, I think it's just something that's weird, gross for
Yeah,
me. Yeah, because
yeah. I don't even think it's gross. It's just something I don't want happening. However, like something I would never use your deodorant. I would never want somebody to use mine. But like at the end of the day, if somebody used mine
you just don't want to know.
and I didn't know about it, my life goes on, and I'm none the wiser.
Yeah, don't ask, don't tell. I got you. That makes sense.
Um,
I can respect it.
all right, yeah. Therapy question number 3, and as we go down the line, they get more serious and more serious and more serious.
Nah, dude, you're bullshitting on these today.
I don't know. Got a lot of content so far. All right, therapy question number 3.
Fuck you.
That was a spit take by Joseph. But y'all, I could see him now.
No, I was just like, eat a dick.
You know, you know, less crazy than using someone's loofah is eating a dick. All right. Why did Cinderella's shoe fall off if it fit her perfectly?
Because that shit was made of glass. She got some sweaty ass feet. Bitch running around with some sweaty feet and glass shoes. Yeah, I would fall out of some fucking glass New Balances if my feet with my sweaty ass feet for sure.
Hey, so don't borrow Joseph's socks. Now,
Yeah, socks. That's another thing that's weird.
I mean, well, like she didn't have sweaty feet when the prince eventually came back and fit the glass slipper onto her foot to know that it was hers.
Well, maybe, but I just feel like if your feet are
They're
sweaty,
custom made. They're custom made. No other hood rat in Cinderella, the movie,
had glass slippers.
no, had like could fit the glass slipper.
True.
It was a perfect fit.
I feel like that'd be so uncomfortable. Like a glass shoe, a high heel glass shoe. That sounds so incredibly painful and not comfortable at all.
Okay, I think all women would agree, and our drag queen homies out there, that I think a high heel in general is not comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. So having a glass high heel would be terrible.
Yeah, if it fit perfectly.
Because they didn't say it was indestructible. They just said it was glass.
She was running to the carriage.
So maybe she chipped it.
No, because they found it and it fit her perfectly. She didn't chip it. It's just
It fit
she was
her.
able to run in high heels, bro.
Or though maybe if it fit her perfectly, maybe it wouldn't hurt so bad because it would be a more comfortable heel, right?
Like Dr. Scholl's.
Yeah, because it fit her foot perfectly. But I just don't think glass would be comfortable to like.
Yeah, but why did it come off if it fit so perfectly?
Because her feet were sweaty.
No, Walt Disney fucked up. All right, we don't need to go.
That wasn't even Walt Disney, was it? Was that just a Disney? Was that?
Of course it was.
I know that was the Disney. Was it? Was there no version of that story before? That's
No.
not older. That's not an older tale. The story of Cinderella is not older than like, and Disney just made that story into something. I'm gonna look this
Jesus
up.
Christ. Jesus. $1,000.
Nice try. Yeah.
I mean, like the Brothers Grimm or something.
Cinderella was first published in 1697.
Are you gonna read Cinderella to us and find out if she has a
Nah,
glass slipper
I
in
just, I just,
1697?
I
And now
just,
you have your answer if it is true.
I just saved you a
That's
grand.
why she has a glass slipper. It's because it's 1697. You know, the United States doesn't even exist.
True story, based on facts.
Shit. All right, yo. Final therapy question. Therapy question number 4. Why do you get a flotation device on a plane, but not a parachute?
That makes more sense. I don't know why. I feel like that'd be expensive though.
It's not like you have to like they're parachuting out every damn day. Like you have to like budget cost on this, like where it's like, yo, dude, it's too expensive for the parachutes. We could save everybody in here, but when the plane crashes once every like 15 years,
Yeah, I sound like a
we can't afford it.
I sound like a business exec. Yeah, but it sounds expensive. Because how many people are on a plane? You have to give everybody a parachute every single flight.
One time, what?
Or do you just issue everybody a parachute in general, and they just have to bring it with them?
That you already got fucking gas or oxygen masks. Like a parachute's more expensive.
Well, yeah, I mean, the shelf life on those oxygen masks is forever. You're gonna have to like change and repack these parachutes constantly.
Why?
Because that's like there's certain safety regulations for a parachute. You can't like pack a parachute and let it sit in the back like underneath a plane seat for 8 years and then be like, oh, it's good to go. Like there'd be some. I don't think you'd be allowed to do that. I think there's strict regulations on how you have to pack parachutes and shit.
Okay, airline industry. I'll take the risk on the 8-year-old parachute over not having a fucking parachute. Like, what are the alternatives?
No, that is true. No, I do get it.
What are we talking about? Like, I'm not trying to jump out of the fucking plane.
Well,
I'm just like, I want a lifeline, and the seat being a flotation device doesn't feel like one.
It's pretty helpful, man. You'd be surprised.
When what?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
We're gonna plummet into the ocean.
Especially
grab your seat and pull it up and hold on to it and Godspeed, motherfuckers.
Well, especially if you're flying from like Texas, like Dallas to Lincoln, Nebraska, and it's like you have a flotation device. Ugh. There's no water for forever. So the fact that you have a flotation device is like absolutely absurd.
Not only do you have a flotation device, but we're gonna tell you about it in this landlocked trip.
Everybody look down. There's a flotation device. It's the biggest ball of yarn.
And we'll be going over Oklahoma, and your flotation device will not work. Thank you. All right.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just feel like it's it'd be expensive. I don't know why we don't have parachutes, but that sounds real expensive, man.
All right. Well, this was a trick question, y'all.
And then would you have to train people?
We'd be going too fast for you to use a parachute and not get sucked into the engine, so you're fucked.
True. I didn't even think about that.
I know.
You would get, because you'd be going pretty damn fast.
I guess if you could sully it, Sully, the guy who landed the plane in the Hudson, and just like engines off, coasting, and then like he could tell you exactly when everybody should drop out, like to where it wouldn't kill you to hit the ocean, but you weren't too high up, and just go.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if it was going down and if you were going that fast, you could maybe get out and not get sucked in the engine, depending on where you were on the plane and where you exited, but it would be nuts.
Do you think that the pilots have parachutes and then they just don't tell us about it?
Probably.
Pilots are like, yeah, we're out.
They
we're out.
they probably
We
do.
don't. We're not going down with the ship. We're not captains. We fly planes.
They have like they have their own little like passenger door hatch that no one knows about. That it's like
Bye bye.
pop it up and like cap
With the black box in hand. It's just like
yeah captain. Yeah, no. I mean, I think that that I mean it makes sense, but too expensive. They'd never do it. Way too expensive.
I mean, if I was a captain, I would try to get at least a few of the flight attendants to have parachutes as well. So
Well, if the pilots do, then
got
if the pilots do, they do.
eh, at least we got some hot chicks up in the water with us for however long it takes.
No, you won't because you don't have a flotation device. So you'll just be floating in the water.
I'm grabbing the seat and pulling the chute.
No, you want a parachute, not a flotation device. You want both?
No. Yes. The seat's already there.
Is the pilot's seat a flotation device? It has to be.
Maybe they're like, you don't get a flotation device because you got to ride this out to the end, motherfucker.
But don't they have like rafts? A raft would be cool. Some of them.
Well, they have rafts. That's for everybody. It's like they have like the slide.
You'd have to pick. You can't let. So if you,
I think the slide might turn into a raft. I don't know.
It'd be something where you'd have to like pick a couple. Like, do you want a parachute, flotation device, the raft, the slide?
I want everything.
Well, I mean, obviously, but I'm just saying if you had to. Like,
I want all the hot towels that haven't been washed in my face, first class.
No, even the ones that are about to be washed because those are still clean, right?
Well, you're not coming out of a shower at this point, so I don't know. All right, y'all. That's therapy questions. I feel like I ranted a lot. I do have something, but it's like, I don't know, a little too specific. So, do you want to go to article number one, or do you want me to rant?
No. Well, what's your specific?
I just went and saw Top Gun on edibles the other day, like on Thursday.
Oh, okay.
And it was like this bougie luxury. Press the button and a server comes to you to your like seat at the movie theaters.
Oh yeah.
Liner. And we sat there. It was like a morning. It was 11:30 a.m. showing. I just needed to get out of like my like studying and like just I was like, and I wanted to see Top Gun before it was like out of the theaters. And so I'm sitting there, maybe drinking some seltzers. Who knows? And
so mysterious,
eating some popcorn, and there's only two other people in the theater, and the previews go down, watch all the previews, and then it just goes back to the screen, and then I'm like, what? And I'm waiting, and then eventually I'm like, you know what? There's only three of us in here, and there's these two ladies just like yucking it up with each other in front of me, so I'm the only person. I'm like, I'm gonna go tell them. It was over an hour from the time that the showtime was supposed to start to when they came up. After I went out there, told them, they're like, oh, we'll go check on this. They come back in and they're like, yeah, so we're having IT issues and we're not gonna be able to play the movie. We'll give you a free pass. And the next movie's at 2:30. Which it had already been an hour from the 11:30, so that's 2 hours from then. Like, you could just hang out here if you want. I was like, what the hell?
What?
And I'm like, and it's supposed to be this luxury ass shit, and then the two ladies immediately leave. I got a seltzer to drink, and I'm just like, fuck, man. Like, I haven't been in the movie theaters since the beginning of the pandemic. I went to the movie theaters by myself at 11:30 a.m. and this isn't actually going to happen. I spent like almost 2 hours here at this point because I got there a little bit early, and then the guy comes up and he's like, oh, I didn't know you were still here. Like, and I was like, well, you told me I could stay till 2:30. Not that I was planning on it. I was like, but no, I'll get out of here. Then I left, got edibles delivered, shows up at my house in 10 minutes. Very creepy. And yeah, it was weird.
How did it show up in 10 minutes?
I called them, I ordered it, and 10 minutes later I got a text, we're here. I was like, what?
Is this some delivery service?
Yeah, it's like a dispensary.
Oh, they gotta just have guys like cruising around then.
Well, it's like right down the street, but they don't have a storefront. Otherwise, I would have just walked in. But the guy, like, I was like, "Wait, you guys don't have a storefront?" And they're like, "Yeah, but we'll deliver in 10 to 15 minutes." And every time it's always like 2 to 3 hours, and usually they tell you that. And I was like, "Okay, I'll do that." And I'm like, "It's gonna be like 2 hours. I'm not gonna go back to the movie, but whatever." No, 10 minutes later, edibles, and I'm like, "Okay." In the movie's like a mile away from my house, so I'm like, "I'm going back." Went back, saw Top Gun on edibles, couldn't stop laughing. And but I enjoyed it, and it was all a good time. So I don't know if that's a rant, but that's all I have.
Well, I have beef with those fancy movie theaters. I've been to a couple of them, and they're nice, but you maybe see your server person like once. It was cool when there was a couple places, but now every single movie theater is like, oh, super deluxe. I'm like, no, like I don't.
No, I think they have to do that because nobody's going to the theater, so you have to
Oh
like
no,
make it more enjoyable.
true. They've definitely had to step their game up. There's this one new place that's over by me, and the chairs are crazy, and they're like heated, but it's almost so comfortable. I'm just gonna fall asleep.
That's because you're an old man.
Why? Because like, well, yeah. If I ate a bunch of edibles and was laid back in some heated chair by myself, I'd probably fall asleep.
Well, I hadn't eaten edibles in like a year, and so and I was just no, it was perfect. But it it was like Top Gun is the movie you want to see in the theater, and then there's like the cheesy ass moments where he's like talking to Iceman, who's like on his deathbed in real life, like and in the movie, and then it's just like they're so serious, but I'm just like started just cracking up.
Iceman.
I was just like, oh, this is so good. But then it's like they're hitting all like the notes from the first one. You know, they got the music's the same. They got like the one other thing was the volleyball scene. You know, the most gay scene in the history of cinema.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they have it in this one, but it's them playing this game that not sure if I've ever even heard of. Where it's you're playing football. They're playing football on the beach, but it's two footballs and both teams are on offense and defense at the exact same time. So you snap the ball at the same time, and you got dudes going out as wide receivers, and then you got guys as like defensive backs, and it's just all happening all at once. It was gnarly. I was like, damn. I was like, that's turning checkers into chess right there.
Did they do it all wearing jeans and stuff too?
Jeans, shirtless, beach,
Okay.
sand,
Okay. Okay. Nice.
music.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I haven't seen it yet. I need to. Um, the
I mean,
first one.
I got hard for sure. I don't know if it was the edibles or Tom Cruise.
Good lord. Probably a combination. I'm still because what? There's another Mission Impossible coming out. Doesn't he have another Mission Impossible after that?
Yeah, that was one of the previews, and that looks lit.
Well,
But
it's like
I saw the preview. Yeah, it's
part
in
one.
2 parts.
Yeah, part one.
There's like a scene where he drives the motorcycle off a fucking skyscraper. Speaking of parachutes, drops the motorcycle and then waits for it to clear and then parachutes. And it like Tom Cruise does all of his own stunts. So like this
Oh
crazy
yeah,
ass
yeah.
stuff that he did that on like for real. And I was like, God damn. And I was like, actually, like maybe that's not as sketchy as like jumping off the building with a parachute. It's like you're gonna get like trajectory like flying off of it
Yeah, he
with the
does some
motorcycle.
wild shit. But I mean, I saw that preview when I went and saw Nope. And but is this the one where he's supposed to go? They're supposed to shoot some of it in space.
He is supposed to do that, but I don't know what movie that is.
I think it's a Mission Impossible movie, and I'm like, yeah,
Well,
like
there was no space in this preview.
well, not in this one, but that's where it's like part one, part two. But I was like, I could have sworn he was supposed to go up into space and shoot something in space. And I was like, that's totally how Tom Cruise is gonna.
Yeah, but movies like especially with Tom Cruise, like from conception to like finish, like he could take like 10 years on it. He's like Listen, y'all, I'm not aging. I look like I did when I was 25 right now. I'm 80. Like, it's like we can take our time.
Yeah, it's Scientology, man. But I mean, I'm just saying that's like that's the ultimate way for him to go. If he died shooting a movie in space, like I don't know how any other way that Tom Cruise would go out. I feel like that's like, and then they would still finish the movie, and then like he'd be like cut, and he would like float off into space, and then he'd be immortalized in Scientology for forever, right?
No.
He'd become
It's like you're supposed to die then go to space, not die in space.
But what I'm saying is Scientology's weird, right? Like Lord Xenu comes
No,
from another galactic empire.
It's really rational.
Oh my god. No, I think that would be the ultimate. He would almost be any more. I guess he is kind of like already Scientology Jesus.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what I'm saying. If he like got lost in space or died in space or did something wild like that, Scientology would be like, oh, like they would buy into it. They would come up with some way how it was like an omen or a sign, or do you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that might be how he goes. Is he shoots a movie in space and then he's forever immortalized. Like what would be more epic? That's like the most Tom Cruise way to die, right? Would be doing your own stunt in space.
In the context of Scientology.
Yeah, no, or in the
but in his
mind, he's crazy.
There's more people who like Tom Cruise than there are Scientologists.
True. No, I like Tom Cruise movies. I think Tom Cruise makes good movies. He's fucking nuts, but he makes good movies.
That's my point. Is like immortalized by the Scientologists. I don't think he cares once he's dead.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is, if that were to happen, that would just be the most Tom Cruise way to go out. And even for him, I think that would be like if he had to pick a way to go out, Tom Cruise would do it doing some crazy ass stunt no one's ever done before. He wouldn't be like, "Oh, I want to do that," because I just he seems wild to me.
He's such a paradox because he does all his own stunts, does crazy shit all the time, like hella skis, like into like giant summits or whatever the fuck. I'm not a skier, like just giant mountains, like. He like goes down buildings, jumps out of fucking planes, but he's so like adamant about not aging and like staying looking young. Like it's not he's not just like some like mutant that just like he just happens to look young. So he's so about like living forever, but he like puts his ass on the line so many times. It's like, which one is it, bro?
If Tom Cruise could go out into space and age slower than all of us and come back,
you age faster.
He would. Well, no. I mean, if depending on it. Well, yeah, I guess depending on the distance. If he could leave like in Interstellar, and dip and come back, and his daughter's like an old woman and he hasn't aged like really at all, Tom Cruise could do something like that.
Yeah.
If there's anybody who can do something like that, it's Tom Cruise, man. If anybody can make any of that stuff,
he's
possible.
Like before I left to go to Interstellar. And I didn't know your name, and now that you're an old woman, I still don't know your name because I'm Tom Cruise.
With Will Smith being out of the running because he's Will Smith now, and he's a Scientologist too.
On parole.
Yeah, he's on parole right now. He's on papers. We'll see if we let him out of jail. But as of right now, I mean, Tom Cruise is kind of like Captain Earth. He's nuts. Scientology's crazy, and obviously he's a fucking weirdo. But when it comes to stuff like that, if you had to pick a ambassador team to go to another planet, 15 people, I'd be cool with Tom Cruise going.
Me too.
I'd be like, yeah, sign him up. More than John Travolta, more than any of the other Scientologists at this point. John Travolta is so crazy.
Don't even compare him.
Dude, John Travolta is so crazy. The movies he's been coming out with, man, I see them pop up on my Amazon. It is the cringiest shit I've ever seen in my entire life.
This Tom Cruise is a bona fide movie fucking star, and it like don't even compare these Scientology.
John Travolta was it at one point? John Travolta.
No, I'm talking about right the fuck now.
Oh no relevancy, because John Travolta had a long run too, but Tom Cruise has outlasted him. But you got to remember,
Tom Cruise have bad movies? I don't know.
But you got to remember,
he's the opposite of Johnny Depp.
But you also got to remember, John Travolta started way before Tom Cruise did as well. John Travolta's older than Tom Cruise. So John Travolta was huge back in the day, and the back in the 70s. And then did you do movies like Grease? He's done iconic movies that are like universally accepted.
R.I.P. Olivia Newton-John.
Oh, facts. But Tom Cruise is surpassed him in longevity because John Travolta started to fade out. He did that movie Planet Earth or what is it? Attack on Earth, something
No,
like
well,
that.
what happened was
It's
like he
based. It's
started
an
to
L.
fade
Ron.
out.
It's an L. Ron Hubbard book that he turned into a movie. It's like
He
super.
started to fade out like after like Boogie Nights and Grease and all the other shit he was doing, and then he got put in Pulp Fiction as Vincent Vega, and that resurged his career, and then that's how he like had another run, like where it was like Michael, where he was the angel, and then
But
like
what
which
about
was
like Look Who's Talking and Look Who's Talking 2 and Look Who's Talking Now? Those movies were huge family hits. He didn't do the same types of movies, but he definitely still did some stuff. Because then he did Face Off and he did all those movies, which yeah,
Face Off was after Pulp
no,
Fiction.
no, I know. So, but I'm saying if you start in like the 70s and you're still doing movies in '98, but then Broken Arrow sucked, and then there was a bunch of movies he did after that. They just continually got worse. And he did that L. Ron Hubbard movie, like I can't remember what it was called. Oh, it's so bad, and it's like loosely Scientology based. And then after that, he just kind of faded into existence. Didn't really do anything until he did Hairspray, and he dressed up.
And, yeah, and then he got hair plugs ever since that day.
Yep, yep. But
All
no,
right, do you want to go to the articles?
yeah, sorry. That was a deep dive into. But no, John Travolta is definitely
Oh, we're
not
still going.
not nearly as have the running star power of Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise crushes him for sure.
Tom Cruise is like right up there with Brad Pitt, Leo, and George Clooney as far as careers.
Yeah, but even George Clooney like dipped. George Clooney's been out of the game for a grip, man.
Yeah, but maybe on purpose because he's been directing a lot.
Yeah. So I mean, he kind of because he dipped on the acting scene, but to go from ER to Ocean's 11 pretty quick was pretty tight. All right, articles. The first article is from your favorite Bloomberg. It's how employers benefit from offering unlimited paid time off. I had to like read this because it sounded like bullshit. Um, did you read this article?
Yeah, and I actually have already read like articles about this.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's talking about offering unlimited PTO, no cap on like days off, and that it can increase productivity. People are able to work from home. Like, 20 days is normally normal. See, with this whole thing where it's like, oh, if 20 days PTO and they leave the company and only use 5 of them, they have to pay the other 15. I'm like, who? Some places don't give 2 fucks. They're not going to pay you those 15 days if you quit.
Yeah, they might be legally obligated to if you press the issue, but so like Netflix was one of the first companies that did this, at where it was unlimited paid time off,
Yeah.
and it turned out that it was such a competitive workplace that it was like, well, I'm not going to take time off because I know so and so's not going to take time off, and if I take time off, they're going to get ahead of me in my job. And so it turned out that people, all these like Silicon Valley companies, like Netflix, I think is like LA, but maybe you want to call it Silicon Valley, fine. But all these like tech companies were like people that were working there were actually taking less vacation time than people who were like sitting in a cubicle who only get like 2 weeks a year or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine unlimited PTO. It really depends on what field you're working in, and because if you were doing like sales or something like that, unlimited PTO would work. But like if you're doing what I
No,
do, it could.
now I never like take a vacation. I'm always scared about it. Like, like I'm just like I don't know if I should be doing this. Like, I just don't do it. But because with sales, it's like when you're out of touch. I mean, if you were still taking calls like while you're on vacation, that's one thing. But like just being gone from the game for like 2 weeks, like you're like out of the loop. It's like the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So if you're not there, like,
Yeah,
you
well, it's
know,
definitely like I think this article says too. It's definitely like an upper management, uh, director, executives type stance on unlimited PTO. Um, definitely more of like an overseer type role would benefit from that than like an everyday worker. That just sounds, yeah, that does sound wild, especially in a competitive market. Someone's going to take your job and take less PTO, or maybe get a promotion because you take so much time off, you're not there. So maybe you don't like get fired because you take time off, but you miss out on opportunities. So I was like, what? I mean, how is that? I could see it benefiting for keeping people, sure. Like I could see the pluses in offering that to your employees, because how many people are actually going to take advantage of unlimited PTO?
yeah, it's like bait. It's like you reel them in
Yeah,
like like offering unlimited like paid time off, but then you know that they're not going to use it.
yeah,
It's like a buffet.
yeah. Like
It's
I do.
you're like all you can eat, motherfucker. Give us $20, and it's like we know you're not going to eat $20 worth, so
Yeah, like
we win.
I do a lot of people's like schedules on a weekly basis, like a lot, for a lot of different departments. And I pride myself on the fact that everybody's always gotten their days off they've requested. I always let my um, members of my team who work for me or take their direction from me, I make sure they always get their times off. Let them use their PTO first. Let them take vacations first, because I think it's easier that way. Because like I could take oh, I don't want to take up 2 weeks off and miss all this shit, but I feel bad. I mean, I guess I'm not built like most people who are in upper management, because some people definitely give themselves cush schedules, or are constantly taking times off, or want to show up super late or dump other work on other people because like they can. So the unlimited PTO for subordinates just sounds like, yeah, an opportunity for you to get lapped by somebody else, or like miss out on opportunities because people don't think you take your job serious.
Well, it's not even that it's going to happen, it's that you're scared that would happen to you. So it's just like the fear of that like possibility of getting like overlooked for a promotion or
Oh,
somebody looking better than you is enough. So it's like not that that person's actually going to do that. You're just like, I don't
I
know.
think that they would, though. I think they would. I think it's inevitable that
They
they
definitely
would.
could,
I think it'd be
but
inevitable that they would, just strictly based off the fact that like you're not around as much.
well, maybe they're thinking the same fucking way. You know, it's like you're both like what you need to do as employees is go up to your coworkers, like, yo, we're all taking time off, right? Like, yo, let's make a pact
Let's
here. Like,
go. Yeah.
yeah.
But that's how unions start,
Hell yeah.
right? Yeah, I mean, I call bullshit. Unlimited PTO sounds great, but that sounds like it's,
It's a trap.
yeah, employers concerned about the well-being and retention of their workers encourage the use of PTO, as it gives employees a chance to rest and refresh. But that means that you're actually going to leave me the fuck alone on my PTO as well. Depending on what you do for work, you could be on PTO and people are still blowing you up, or you come back and it's like you retroactively get fucked because you missed 689 emails, and now you got to deal with that shit. So I don't.
I mean, I think that unlimited paid time off better than where you got to earn it and you only get 2 weeks. However, there needs to be some sort of like regulation in there to where you're not going to get fucked over for taking time off, which you were offered unlimited amounts of.
Well,
You
yeah,
know,
I would see. What I'd say is it should be there should be if you have, let's say you have like 25 days in a year of PTO, but they should roll over every year. So if I accumulate 75 days of PTO, but I think you should be given a set amount, but there should be a higher number that is the max you can use in a year. So you get 25 a year, but if you have rollover, you can't do more than 38. Just pull a random number out of my ass, right? 40. So you can't do more than 40 days off. So you can't take more than a month in like a 10-day week off every year. So essentially, you could take 1 month out of the year off, but you have to earn those hours up. So that would help retention, because if you're like, hey, I'm not taking any of my days off for PTO, and then the next year if you did that, you would have 50, so then you'd still have 10 that could roll over to the next year, and then you'd be at 35. right? So if you didn't take any PTO for a year, in 3 years you could take like 75 days off and still.
Yeah, but I mean, you're basically just doing what already happens, except for you're just extending how many days you actually get.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that if you had some system like that, I think that would help with retention. Just because you would, be promising them like, hey, raise the amount, like not just 20, raise it to whatever, but then have a cap on how many they can use in a year. So if they accumulate those over a couple, if you don't take any days off or use no PTO for 2 years, you have an extra 50 days blocked up that for the next 2 to 3 years you have.
I know, but do you want somebody gone for 50 fucking days?
But no, that's the reason you'd have a cap on how many they could use in a year, anyways. So they
Well,
couldn't.
see that, but that's we're just now reverting back to exactly what already happens.
But I mean,
Like
who's giving you a month? If you were guaranteed a month, almost a month of PTO after you worked for me for a year, you would get 40 days of PTO. You wouldn't take that deal? That's a sweet deal. That's almost a
I'll
month.
take the unlimited PTO and then work it out myself. I don't need you telling me.
Well, I mean, you could take a 1 week paid vacation every single month for
I could
like all
literally
summer.
take a 1 week vacation every single month all summer with unlimited.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying I don't. I think the unlimited is bullshit. That's what I'm saying. 'Cause I don't.
Uh,
It's like a pipe dream. So if you wanted something that would be more
it exists.
oh, I know it does, but something that would be more practical. And then if you still got paid out those days that you accumulated and you were guaranteed that, that's one thing that I think that pisses people off about PTO is not getting the hours back. So if I don't use, it's like use it or lose it. I think that system is a little bit more frustrating.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I think you should have they should always roll over. If you don't have unlimited, you should be able to accumulate, but you should have some sort of decent cap per year, so that way it incentivizes people to stay and accumulate more days, and then they'll use less as they get them for some long thing.
So like, but all right, think about it in this way: like when you're a kid, and your parents are like, like super controlling and strict, makes you want to kind of like lash out and like, like do stuff that they tell you not to do. But if they're like, they trust you and they're like, yo, Joseph, here's $20. Like we give you a lot of leeway. Go out with your friends. Don't do anything bad, but we trust you to get back here on time. You might get back home earlier, just so that because you like respect like your parents so much. You're like, I don't want to fuck up at all. But when they're like, Joseph, you got to go to sleep at 8 and shut the fuck up, then you're like, I don't give a fuck about these people. I'm gonna do some wild shit and sneak out. And so I think that's kind of like it's like a reverse psychology type thing where it's like we're gonna give you as many days as you need paid off, and then you're gonna like think in your head like I don't want to like abuse this if you're a normal person, but if they're like yeah you only get 2 days and then you have to earn the rest, which happened to me for sure, and we're gonna be dicks about it, then it's like, okay, well, you know what? I don't care anymore. I'm gonna do whatever I want.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I think if you have a system that's in place that's a good 50-50 split, like if you approach it practically and not like I want to maximize the work I'm getting out of these people, but like I want to maximize the effort and time that I do have these people here, and that's your approach, I think that helps a lot more. I think that people put in more effort. I get a lot of shit done in a day, especially when I'm super motivated, or especially whenever I've had a good meeting or I've gotten some good praise. It doesn't take a lot to like I'm already self-motivated, but sometimes I surprise myself in the amount of shit I can do with the right motivation. And I have a really good leader in the job that I do who like keeps me motivated and keeps me inspired to do more stuff. And I'd say that my workload has been less and my stress level has been less and my output's probably been more and my end results been more, because of his approach and how he communicates, and how he's like made sure like, hey, when I say I want this done, I don't mean you doing it, making sure, because he knows like, hey, you're going to kill yourself all the time. You got to stop. And so a good leader, or good owners, or a good company should also know when to tell people to stop or when to chill, and allow them to kind of hit that button themselves when they need to. And, like it's a pipe dream, but not feel any, like there's going to be any ramifications or retaliation for taking said time off.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah.
This is more about, or like at least the idea of it is, I don't want you to have to worry about like whether or not you should take a day off because you're sick, or because your kid's sick, or because something happened. Like, I don't want you to be like, oh, how many days do I have left? Like, and I was planning this, and like, shit, do I need to sacrifice this so I can make this? And then it's just like a stress spiral. Like, I think that's what this is supposed to be, but in practice, it may I don't know.
Nah,
I've
man.
just
Yeah, yeah, no. I mean, I could tell you that just doing what I do is like super stressful, and part of the stress is like, caring about people's balance, and sometimes you have to care for them. Because sometimes not everybody does, and sometimes people are obsessed with work and overwork themselves, and you can see like, oh, this guy's bounced from place to place every year because he comes in and works his ass off and then gets burned out and gets frustrated and dips, and sometimes you got to identify that in people and stop them from doing that to themselves so you can keep them long term. All right, next article. Article number 2. This is from Time. We've been, there's been a lot of like good things, but I feel like we had some pretty heavy episodes when it came to the women's issues, but I feel like we've had some good W's lately, and this is another good one where Scotland and the period poverty. So that's in quotes is what they call it, but it's the Period Products Act, where Parliament unanimously approved a law in 2020, and it compels. Now it's going into effect where basically, if you need any type of feminine hygiene products, you get them for free. If you're asked for them, like, you're required to provide them, which totally makes sense to me. I don't get the hubbubaloo. I know that people make a lot of money off of that industry, but I don't. I mean, I don't understand why like tampons shouldn't be. I think that's like a necessity for women. So I don't know. If there was some dick tampon and guys needed it, I'm pretty sure it'd be free. So, but Scotland hold it down and making them free, essentially. Thoughts?
I mean, I feel like you're just setting me up to make tampon and women's hygiene jokes. So, like 50 of them went through my head as we were talking, and I just don't want to get into trouble. So, I don't
Okay.
know what this. I mean, I agree with you. Yeah, this should be free.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. I know companies make a shit ton of money off of it, but whatever. Like, I don't know. That's weird.
It's not like they're making the companies produce them for free. It's just the taxpayers will pay for it, as
Yeah,
they should.
yeah. I think that that's fair.
Yeah.
Taxpayers should pay for that. What? Ben Carson bought some like $95,000 crazy ass fucking desk for his office. I think if I'm gonna be buying Ben Carson's dumbass a desk, I think I throw some money in the tampons. I on Amazon for my staff. I buy big cartons of it. I buy cartons of tampons. I buy huge boxes of Midol, and I keep it all in the office, all for my staff, and they love it to death. They appreciate me for it. I'm always like, take them.
Why in the office?
So
Why
that,
not in the women's bathroom?
well, we have dispensers for that, but I buy like the nice ones. I go, I
So
get the good for myself.
the customers don't get the nice ones.
No, those are expensive, man. I gotta take care of my people. I'm not just the tampon king. I'm not just passing them out to the
I'm just,
neighborhood.
I just don't understand why we can't get good toilet paper, good tampons, and name brand Midol in the bathrooms. If you can't afford to pay your employees minimum wage, and you can't afford toilet paper that's not going to make my butthole bleed, what are we doing as a company?
Well, we got good TP, and it's not just the Midol, man. It's more than that, because sometimes Midol works for some, but it doesn't work for all. So you gotta have Midol, you gotta have ibuprofen, you gotta have Motrin, and you gotta have Tylenol, and you gotta have Aleve. You gotta have the full array.
All right, do you understand that there's like maybe a conflict of interest here of you having the women who have to come in and get a tampon and Midol out of your office?
Well, that's right. That's where the first aid stuff is. So I keep it all locked up in
I'm
there.
just trying to say, you're walking a tightrope here,
How? I'm
and not the rope that comes out of the tampon,
because I don't want
because that's not tight.
because I don't want that. I don't. I think that should be free for them, and I can
I
buy
understand that
them,
your
pay for them.
intentions are good, but it's like, yo, you're on your period, come into my office.
No, they're in a big jar in the office. They just go grab one. They're just out. It's not like I'm like, hey, do you need one? Come find me so I can pass them out. They're just in the office.
As your attorney, I just want you to think about stuff like this.
That's not bad at all. I don't see anything wrong with it.
Well, I don't either until it turns on you.
I don't know how that will. I don't know.
A disgruntled employee.
A disgruntled employee.
He used to make me get my tampons out of his office while he was doing the shift schedule.
No, that sounds dumb.
Well, I agree. It does sound dumb.
No, and I know they're like stealing them because there's like hundreds of them. I just put them in this big tub. I'm like, just take them if you need them.
All right. Well,
power Amazon, man. You can get anything on Amazon.
Oh, I didn't know Amazon like had the lock on tampons. I thought that was.
They have everything. It's
I thought that had been around for a while.
But you know how they have a knockoff product of everything, like a generic Amazon product for everything. I wonder if there's generic Amazon tampons.
Like every store does, like Safeway. You know, like every.
Yeah, but
like,
Amazon brand with the A to Z logo, I feel like that's just weird. That would just be cringe. So I'm just wondering if they've actually like made that. That's just interesting. I'm sure they have. I wouldn't be surprised. They've cloned everything else.
Jeff Bezos is like,
I
already look like a tampon.
Well, because they do diapers too. They have like their own diapers and stuff. So like I said, I wouldn't be surprised. All right, article number 3. But hey, shout out Scotland for holding it down. That's awesome.
Ireland's better. Y'all don't listen to the podcast. Fuck you.
Well, they might now because we're giving them a shout out.
How would they know?
Who did we pick up? Colombia.
Oh yeah, Colombia. Let me tell you something. Because I used to, we were on every fucking
horrible
continent.
accent.
Well, whatever. We were on every continent in the world besides Antarctica. I was including South America and North America as one continent because we had talked about it before as the Americas. But if you want to call it South America, Colombia, our first South American country.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, like we had Mexico for a long time, but that's the first one, like below Central America, like, you know. And I was like, I had not like connected those two things, and I was like, I like that.
All right. Well, speaking of South America, article number 3 from the Bloomberg Finance. Booming beef industry has urban cowboys lining up to buy cattle in Uruguay. I read this article and I was like, dude, I want to buy like 30 grand's worth of cattle in Uruguay. But I also didn't realize how much that Uruguay is one of the top 10 exporters of beef in the entire world. That's fucking crazy.
Think about like Fogo de Chao.
Yeah, but that's just like when you think, dude, Uruguay is not that big.
No, I know, but like
Uruguay is like small in comparison to like everything around it.
Sure, well, but it's not like that developed. So there's a lot of land.
Oh yeah.
And but yeah, not we, but like colonialists like introduced, you know, cattle like to the Americas, and so that like it's a huge industry like down there, like Argentina, Uruguay, Brazil, like their cattle farming is like not on America's level because we're fucking like homicidal with it, but it's there.
Yeah, I mean, it says that they shipped a record 423,390 metric tons, dude. 466,708 tons of beef worth $2.4 billion. Ends up in European, US, and especially Chinese kitchens. 2/3 by volume goes to China. That's wild.
Yeah, and then think about like they're like it seems like China and Uruguay are like so far away, but you just go across the Pacific, the other way,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, it's like it's it's not as far as you would think.
It seems like they're trying to get people. There's multiple like multi generational families that own these cattle farms, and they're looking for outside investors, people to buy land, people to buy cattle. Um, Minimum investments start at 15,000 and run up to 50,000. But it's a booming market down there, man. And it says that for a 250 kilogram steer purchased for today would be $700 and could grow 450 kilograms in a year and would sell for $1,250. If you owned that, you would get 756 would go to the owner, and about $500 goes to the rancher. Dude, I would totally throw it.
I know I get to see them getting exploited, but you have to also realize that China, has the it's like they haven't overtaken the United States as far as like the economic superpower yet. Yeah, I don't think they will, but we'll find out. But it's just they have like the fastest growing middle class ever. So you have like it's like wine exports to China, like have just exponentially skyrocketed because there's 500 million people now like that are in the middle class that weren't previously like 10 years ago. So like now they're like, oh, like wine, steak. And so like there's this emerging market for stuff that we kind of take advantage of like in the United States or take for granted, I should say.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, also while their middle class has grown, their economy's become like super stagnant. It's taken like a plunge at
No,
the same time.
I know, but they have so many people
Yeah.
that like even though that there's still a billion people living in poverty, you know, that they have more people in the middle class than the United States does.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, definitely. Just like by numbers.
Right.
Would you invest in Uruguay cattle with me, dude?
I don't know.
Come on, man.
I,
If you throw $1,000 down, I'll put 14 down.
is that because I owe you 1,000?
Yeah. But no,
Well, I don't know. I've been watching Patagonia a lot, and Uruguay's right there, but it's like Argentina, Chile, and
Patagonia, the apparel company.
no, that's their headquarters is like down the street. Bunch of busters. They're wearing Columbia jackets out in like real Patagonia, but no, it's this like documentary that CNN's been doing like an hour a week. It's South America. It's at the edge of the world, and it's like the way that the terrain is. It's that like because there's like the Andes Mountains, and so it's like all the sea life, then desert, because like the mountains blocking off like any sort of like wind or rain or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like also then rainforest. So it's like you have just like this entire, kind of like Galapagos,
Yeah, the
you know?
Galapagos Islands. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like that. It's like there's penguins, but then there's also cactus and lizards, but then there's whales
and
and then there's
sloths and all sorts of weird shit.
exactly,
Yeah.
and it's also um like undiscovered like relatively compared to the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's treacherous as fuck. Yeah, it's like I think Patagonia. I think douchey people in Denver, their little sweater vests and their fucking
It's Tony the
beanies,
Lip.
their Carhartt beanies, which I never understood the Carhartt beanie. Um,
I could throw a rock and hit the headquarters of Patagonia for where I live for 7 years.
you should.
No, I've actually been up in there, trying like selling them copiers, and they're like walking around. Everybody's barefoot. I'm just like, the fuck, you guys are
What?
at. I'm
Ew.
like, you're at the office.
Ew. That's gross. If you're, yeah, man, I see people that go barefoot in some weird ass places. Nothing's weirder than whenever you're like in a restaurant or somewhere out to eat and someone like takes their sandal off and they're like barefoot underneath the table. I'm like, what are you doing? Put your fucking shoe back on. It's
Yeah,
gross.
I mean, we were close to the beach, but still, you're like literally walking like on the third story of this office, like barefoot for no reason other than like because you got paid time off.
Yeah.
Unlimited.
I have unlimited paid time off, and I don't have to wear shoes to the office.
Yeah, exactly.
And my chair's made of lemongrass
And sage.
We burn it at the end of the month to get the bad vibes out of the office. Everyone burns their sage chairs.
Like the only reason why there's bad vibes because he won't wear shoes.
Yeah. No, it's because he is wearing shoes. You're bringing the bad vibes in here with your shoes, Greg.
What's so funny is that Birkenstock's headquarters is right down the street, and
Do they got beef, dude? Is that beef?
everybody in there who's wearing shoes is wearing Birkenstocks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, can you wear the Birks, or does Patagonia make their own like Birkenstocks now?
Nah, they're like a odd couple, like that started like in Ventura and like happen to be like down the street from each other.
Weird.
Like this isn't like a like downtown like LA or anything. This is like in the weirdest spot you would ever think that like two companies that made it that like global like would be.
Interesting. All right, last article. It's gonna be talking about all the madness that we saw. I guess we can just kind of talk about all this Trump bullshit. It's pretty much what it was. The article is just about, things that were seized. 27 boxes from Mar-a-Lago, 11 containing classified documents, including top secret information, which is wild. I've heard, a lot of people talk about it, people who have the same clearance, that SCI, which means top secret, where you basically have to like sit inside a vault to look at this shit.
They call it a skiv.
Yeah, the skiv. There's like multiple skivs, but like you have to go inside this vault or a skiv and read these documents. You have to like take off your like jewelry, and like if you have like a digital watch or a Fitbit, you have to take those off. And he had a bunch of these things in his possession. It's way more than I thought. I know they said they got 15 boxes from him, but then to get 27 more boxes is wild, man. I mean, he's a fucking idiot. He stole a bunch of shit.
So it was 15 originally. He said that was it, and then they got 11 or 12 more.
Yeah.
When the FBI
subpoenaed.
Not subpoenaed. Executed the search warrant.
Well, no, they subpoenaed him first.
They originally subpoenaed him.
Yeah, so it says so what they did is I think it was within 3 months of him leaving office, they realized he had a bunch of stuff. So they tried to negotiate with him to get stuff back, and he gave them 15 boxes. Then they tried to continue, and he refused, so they subpoenaed him, and he gave him back like 1 or 2 more or 3 boxes, and then basically went silent and didn't respond to anything and wouldn't interact with them or anything. So then they got a judge and the FBI director appointed by Trump and
Christopher Wray.
Yeah, and a federal judge. They all signed off on it. It was seen by multiple people, and they realized they had probable cause. Obviously, they have informants. That's what they said. Like they obviously have some sort of informant or two inside Mar-a-Lago.
It's such a tight ship that he runs over there. I can't believe they were able to get some informants in there. Oh wait, no, it's a fucking shit show.
Dude,
of course the FBI was able to infiltrate his like little bitch ass like beach house.
Dude, he had like, what was it? They were going back, and it's super kind of cringy now when you think about it, but there was like videos whenever he was showing like what looked like classified documents to like the Japanese prime minister at like a dinner table, and
that was Xi Jinping.
Oh, that was Xi Jinping. Okay, sorry. And then there was another about
the Chinese prime minister,
yeah, Chinese prime minister, sorry,
or president, whatever you want to call him.
And then whenever there was another woman who got caught on property, like wandering around.
Two of them
with like 4
Chinese nationals.
Yeah, with like 4 cell phones and like hard drives and a burglar kit and gloves and all sorts of wild shit.
Do you know who one of those women were?
Who?
The one that runs the massage parlor that Bob Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, got his hand jobs from, where he got in trouble.
That was one of them. That's badass.
She's the owner
of the actual thing.
of the massage parlor.
Oh wow, that's
kind of... she was hanging out at Mar-a-Lago. She got in.
Yeah, just mind blowing the fact that, and some of them were found in really weird spots. They knew exactly where everything was, but the search warrant was really interesting because it said like any places where any of these things could be stored, like how broad it was and like what they could look in and what they could take. But he had a bunch of highly classified shit, and they knew.
Okay, so this guy famously did not do the presidential daily intelligence briefing. So like every day, the president of the United States gets an intelligence briefing by our intelligence community, like the head of the CIA, the head of the National Security Advisor, like or council, like by the National Security Advisor, and he just wouldn't. He didn't care about it, and to the point where they started putting in pictures, like and making the text bigger, so that he would be more engaged, and he still didn't give a fuck about any of it.
But then he wants to take it home.
Yeah, what did he do? He printed it out because the shit was like on an iPad back. Like this is how they do it now. Like and it's an iPad that's not connected to the internet. As soon as it's over, you give it back to them. They erase it so nobody can hack it. And he goes, he takes the information, prints it out. We know he can't read, and so he but then takes it with him, and it's like, what the fuck? Like obviously he's trying to sell this shit, like or or owes money.
And he had Roger Stone's letter of clemency in with all of his stuff. That was one of the things he took. He took some weird shit. But he took a bunch of stuff that he's not supposed to have. But I have a clip that I want to play. We're gonna try quick.
He took Melania's receipt from the mail-in bride that he paid. Mail order bride.
Yeah. Oh no. Let's go.
That was a Bill Maher joke from Real Time on Friday.
Well, it's not. It doesn't seem to be working right now. Man, this setup thing is making me mad. I think I could still play it, and you can still hear it though. So I'm gonna play this clip. This is Trump. This is from 2016. This is whenever he was running against Hillary and was just talking about classified documents.
Political corruption. We are going to restore honor to our government. In my administration, I'm going to enforce all laws concerning the protection of classified information. No one will be above the law.
That's so cringe, man. That's so rowdy. And like he's had so many excuses on why. First it was like somebody else packed it. Then it was like if it was there, he didn't know that it was there. Now they're trying to say that the archives.
No, but that was the one thing I was going to say. He said that the FBI planted it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he said the FBI planted these documents in his house, and then he said, I actually declassified all of those documents. It was like, okay, well, which one is it? Did they plant classified documents in your house, or did you declassify the documents that you have in your house that you brought there, you dumb son of a bitch? Or did the FBI fuck up and just bring documents that they thought that were classified that you had declassified and you just outsmarted them? Shut the fuck up,
dude. I really think that it's like Ron DeSantis had something to do.
Ron DeSantis does not have any sort of credibility in this. Ron DeSantis runs Florida.
And where's Mar-a-Lago? Where's Mar-a-Lago?
Okay, but dude, come on. The FBI is not fucking with DeSantis.
Maybe they do.
Like every minute we get where DeSantis is not in charge of the FBI is a good day.
Well, what I'm saying is maybe it's a Ron DeSantis informant. It's possible.
No. Are you kidding me? I could flip the fucking gardener of like one of them, like in like Trump's like course, and like right now I could do that. I'm like, yeah, bro, I got $50. I'm gonna need you to go in there. Okay, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it would not take a lot. Like, they're like, dude, this guy's an asshole. Like, I'm like, I know he's an asshole, and I'm gonna promise you a better wage than you're gonna get today if you could just go do this one thing for me. Like Donald Trump's just like throwing food against the wall, like pick that up, fuck you, like it's like he's a maniac. Like no, like I wanted to start this show where it's because like the Secret Service has to like protect him for 10 years. I wanted a show and it's like Veep.
Yeah.
Like, but it's just the Secret Service agents that have to protect Trump after his presidency at Mar-a-Lago. So like Trump's not really like even a character too much into it. But they're just like at the golf course, like fuck this guy, dude. Like this asshole. It was just like a life about them. I thought that would be pretty good.
Yeah. I want to play one more clip. It's actually kind of weird. It has to do with the Mar-a-Lago raid. It's something off of like just wild.
Not a raid. Not a raid.
Wild, unhinged shit. So some people say that like there's the whole, Q believer weirdos. And so they think that the raid on Mar-a-Lago was to stop Donald Trump from exposing information. And this is like a news network. I wish the clip would work. I'm going to try one more time. Because why isn't it working?
He literally was president for 4 years. Could have exposed anything he wanted to and didn't. I've heard people argue that's why they know that aliens haven't visited us or that we don't know about it. It's because Trump would have told us.
Where they think, yeah. I mean,
like that. This guy would have fucking said it immediately if it was true.
All right, here we go.
Of course there are satanic cults that are running this. Of course there's child abuse. Of course there's pedophiles everywhere in the government. And guess what? The mainstream media is protecting them too, and that's why she feels the need to ask him these questions. Well, guess what? Yeah. Trump wouldn't, he would not basically say that wasn't true because he knows it's true. And he knows that, and he even said it himself, he was basically supporting QAnon by saying, hey, I hear they're against pedophiles, so am I. Because he knows, and that was another hint he was dropping to us. A lot of people are saying, yeah, we knew that those parts, but guess what?
This is crazy shit, dude.
Can I say this? They're talking about a guy who had his own daughter who was under the age of 18 on his lap and said that he would date her if she was older. On camera.
Yeah.
This is all part of the puzzle that I'm trying to put together here, which is that the deep state,
it's not a puzzle.
This past raid of Mar-a-Lago, it's a threat.
Right.
It's a threat because they don't want him to expose the pedophiles that he knows about.
Right.
And that's
it's so weird that they're all hung up on this like Epstein shit too when it comes to all of this, how like they've tied and woven everything together to make it some big thing where he's like this massive victim or being persecuted. Like it's like they all have this weird victim complex and they feed into this victim complex. But like
grievance.
Yeah, but Donald Trump's like one of the biggest bullies in existence.
And sexual assaulters.
So to sit there and try to, make him look like a victim is mind blowing, and people buy into it.
This is what they do. Literally, just whatever Trump is like railing against, like getting upset about, he probably did that. Like, he's talking about like Bill Clinton's like accusers. Okay, well, you've sexually assaulted people. He's talking about like classified documents. Okay, you're stealing classified documents. Yeah. You're talking about fake news. You're promoting fake news. It's like that is his strategy. It's whatever you're accusing him of. It's like no, I'm not. What are you? It's like he's a child. It's like I'm not touching you. You're touching me. It's like. Bruh, it's like all you need to know of what he's guilty about is whatever he's like yelling about. It's like whatever he's just bitching about. It's like, oh, okay, so you did that. Birth certificate. Well, I'm not sure if he was born in America, bro.
That's a fair assessment. Yeah.
I'm not a fucking orangutan looking motherfucker.
I mean, man, it seems they doing it under the Espionage Act and destruction of. I think there was like 3 or 4 things that they charged it under, but he's in some deep shit, man. It seems like and then he pled the 5th all day at his
440 times he pled the 5th.
Pled the 5th, 440 times, even though he's already said, I don't have a clip, but where he talked about how pleading
only
guilty people plead the 5th. So it's
so real quick, just for he released a statement immediately after he pled the 5th 440 times about committing fraud, with his business in New York. Uh, he released a statement. He goes, "I did once say that you only plead the fifth if you're guilty, and now I know why you do if you're not."
Interesting. Well, and then Weisselberg, his right hand man, just is going to cop a plea deal, go to prison for like 5 months. He's only going to go to prison for 5 months, so he's going to get a felony on this whole fraud. So his right hand man and his chief financier is taking a plea deal. He doesn't have to technically cooperate or testify against Trump, which seems kind of like bullshit. But that's a big domino to fall. That just puts more pressure on everybody. Because he was kind of like they said his fall guy, but we'll see what happens. But that's a big deal. Him, coming away as a felon is a pretty big deal.
Who hasn't gone to jail that has been close to Trump, like besides his kids? Yet.
True. I think his kids will die.
Like
I think his kids.
Stone.
I think his kids would testify against him.
Michael Cohen.
And I think he'd be fine with his kids testifying against him if they didn't go to jail, and there was like stipulations. I think it's like some Succession shit, man. It's wild. I definitely think that if he was going to go to prison and it was like, all right, you have to testify, your dad's going to go to jail for like 2 years and get out. We get to keep the company, but we have to testify against him. I think they'd do it. I think
absolutely they would do it. He would not.
I don't think he. I think he would. If they didn't, they were going to lose everything. If he didn't have a choice, I think he'd do it.
He doesn't have 2 years in jail.
Who, Trump? You don't think he could survive 2 years in jail?
No. I don't know if he's going to survive 2 years in the free world.
It'd probably be like 2 years.
He's old.
It'd be house arrest, dude. He'd get put on house arrest like some.
No, put him in Rikers.
Good Lord.
And not on the shoe program. Put him in General Pub. like just let Trump walk around Rikers for like 2 days, maybe.
Yeah.
It's over.
Well, pay attention because there's a lot more shit coming out. We haven't seen the full affidavit, but the Department of Justice seems to have some shit, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, of course we haven't, because it's fucking classified information.
Exactly. People are like, why won't they release it? I'm like, because then they're going to be releasing classified information, you dumbass.
The whole reason why they got the documents in the first place.
Yeah, that's why they picked them up in the first place, bro.
Let me read these documents to you, like on national TV that we just seized. Also, Trump not arrested, not charged with anything, so you Republicans shut the fuck up. This is just a banana republic. No, they just got the documents back that he wasn't supposed to have. They didn't charge him with a crime.
Yeah,
they didn't arrest him. So shut up.
True.
Boys in blue lives matter.
Well, for Old Man Minute, I was just gonna talk shit about our hometown for a little bit. I'm kind of bummed out. I wanted to show these statistics, but for some reason,
Do you want to save it?
Yeah,
because we are like knee deep.
Yeah, we're like at almost 2 hours. Yeah, we can save it. But we'll get into it. School just started back up, and some crazy things are going on in Southlake. And I found a clip from the CPAC event where they talked about Southlake. Steve Bannon, and the head of the Super PAC that overran the Southlake school board and 10 other school boards, according to this man. So we'll play that. That's a little teaser, but I'll leave it at that. But it's a very interesting 45-second clip that includes Steve Bannon, our favorite. So stay tuned.
3 shirts.
Yeah, 3 shirts. Yeah, you got anything else, man? Motivational quote, speech.
Oh shit. I don't have a speech, but get money, fuck bitches.
You're so stupid. Well, shout out to everybody listening. Shout out to my sister and my nephew. My nephew was with me all summer. He just left to go back to school today. His birthday was Saturday, so we got to hang out. It was super chill. Pretty sure he's like somewhere in the middle of nowhere driving. So shout out to my nephew, little Joe. Appreciate you being out here. And yeah, y'all just be good. Have a good, safe week. Please stay out of trouble. Like, honestly, shit's wild. Don't get in any fucking trouble. And like always, go fuck yourselves.